And again, that comes back to those core deficits of autism. In the denial process or in the appeals process, you are entitled to a medical review, and you are entitled to ask for an independent medical review, which should be covered by your insurance company. So, a few things that I've been seeing out there in terms of here in California is inappropriate reasons for denial. And if you look at the letter of the law, these are things that should not necessarily be denied, or reasons for denial that we've been hearing coming up from our own experiences and from our families. And some of these include the child has autism and another diagnosis, such as MR or cerebral palsy, where there's the idea of we're going to separate and say these are the autism needs and these are the MR needs. Again, that's technically not something that should be happening. If your child has autism, regardless of any other diagnosis, they should qualify and be eligible for services. My child is not making enough progress, therefore they were denied. That's actually something that the bill talks about. SB 946 says you cannot deny someone services based upon a lack of progress. Now, I want to be clear, that's a lack of progress towards a goal or a number of goals in a reporting period. If you're working on the same goals for a year and a half, 2 years, and you're still not seeing progress, that's a responsiveness to intervention. And that's going to be a different issue. And that may be that ABA is not the best means and the appropriate means of targeting these goals. So those are two separate issues to be aware of. If a child has a preliminary diagnosis, they can't be denied on those grounds. If the regional center gave your child a preliminary diagnosis and then was going to reevaluate at 3, the insurance company needs to honor that preliminary diagnosis. And if anything, they need to provide you an assessment or a diagnosis that they cover to say that your child doesn't qualify. They can't say a program is too big. That is not appropriate. There's no caps, no limits. And also, you have the right to be seen. Some insurance companies have been telling their families that you must go within our network, but it's a 2 to 3 month wait to get services. The bill talks about every insurance company providing an adequate network. And the best way to define adequate network is that you have the right to be seen within 2 weeks. So if you're being told there's a 2 to 3 month wait for an assessment or for services, then you have the right to go outside of your network while still receiving in-network benefits. And so that's a conversation you would want to have with your insurance company and or a provider who could potentially provide those services faster. So let's talk about the impact with the regional centers. I think this is the big question that everyone's wondering. How is this going to impact our regional center? Well, what's really difficult for the regional centers is that despite being 21 regional centers across the state, there's still not that clear consistency across each one of how are we all going to handle this. So you may see some differences from regional center to regional center as they go about enacting these new laws and these new policies. But the concept they have to fall under is payer of last resort. The regional center, in every piece of legislation and every piece of regulations, is always designated the payer of last resort, meaning you need to go through every other funding source or funding channel and get denied before you come to them. In the past, it's just been you go to your school, then you go to the regional center. Now, you still need to go to your school first, because they're still responsible for everything they were before. Then you go to insurance, and then you go to the regional center. So the regional centers are asking that every family give them proof of a denial or an approval letter so they know exactly where everyone stands and they know what they're going to fund. So if you do have private insurance and you are covered for ABA, the regional center is going to mandate that you go to your insurance and get services there, and that not go through them. If you have Medi-Cal, the regional center is still going to cover you. If you have a plan that doesn't have ABA covered because it's self-funded, the regional center would still cover you. So it just needs to give them that proof. What I've been finding and hearing is that no regional center wants to go cold turkey and flip a switch on July 1st when this mandate starts. They want to give every family time to get their insurance lined up, because this is brand new, it's a big change for everyone, and we know families are going to need help, and they've been recognizing that. So what I would recommend doing is reach out to your regional center, speak to your service coordinator, and ask, What are your policies? What are the timetable? What information do I need to provide you to maintain my services? Because the easiest way is to be direct and upfront. Some regional centers have already sent out letters, others have not yet. So that's why I recommend reaching out to them directly. When you look at what the regional center will cover, we talked about those plans that are going to not cover ABA and that they would cover that. But a number of regional centers have also said that if a family is able to show financial hardship, that they would cover co-pays. So if you feel like that would apply to you, you would need to go speak with your service coordinator and go about getting that set up. They're going to look at your W-2s, your tax returns, and they're really going to look at it from the standpoint of a family of 4 would be expected to either make above this amount and therefore not qualify, or below that amount and therefore qualify. In those cases, the most likely scenario is if you do qualify for financial hardship, you would be billed the copay directly from your agency, and then the regional center would reimburse you the cost of the copays. All right. Let's talk about schools real quick before we finish up. Schools are still on the hook for everything. The laws around schools have not changed at all. This insurance mandate doesn't change their responsibility. They still must provide you a free and appropriate public education. So if you're getting services through your school district, they can't be pulled, they can't be changed to be then told you need to go through your insurance. At the same token, they don't have to if you have insurance services that you want to have take place in the school, they don't have to let you do that. They're not obligated to do that either, because it is their expectation that they must provide what's an appropriate source of service. So those semantics are important to keep in mind. All right, gang, that's it. I hope this is a good taste of what you need to do, some good background information. If you have specific questions, feel free to give us a call, 866-278-1520. You can go to our Facebook page. You can go to our website at autismtherapies.com. A lot more information can be found there. And if you give us a call, just ask to speak to our insurance team, because they'll be able to give you some specific answers to your specific questions as it relates to your child, your plan, what's covered, etc.